Alrighty, we are going to be getting started a little bit early. Hola. Anyways, for the most part, we'll be in browser today. I do have Magic Arena up in the background. That's why you keep hearing the like clinking of coins and whatnot. I actually really like using the Magic Arena search basic thing, you know, for the whole seeing what cards are in standard and all that. So I do have that up in the background, and that's what I'll be using for the most part to search up things there. And let me close out of some of these extra tabs. I have some random folders open, and then arena. Okay, there we go. So yeah, here we are with our decks, and I believe these are all old. The Eerie combo is non-essential basically. And this is basically the same deck. I just realized I was missing cards, and I didn't know if it was going to save it, so, you know. Anyways, so yeah, a couple decks I've already brewed up. These two were from yesterday's video, so ignore those two. But we have Luka's turn 4 Great Worm, and you can actually get it down on turn 3, but in all reality, you're going to want to get it down on turn 4, so that way you can give it the trample and the haste, and then, well, you know, turn 4, 16/16 with indestructible and trample and haste is just a fun time for almost, well, just yourself actually, not really for your opponents. We have a Dimir Flash deck, the base of it, and you'll see a lot of these decks actually aren't fully built out, and that's because I'm mostly going on the ideas of them, and then I'll fill out the rest later, like tomorrow. So we have Dimir Flash as well, Narset Instant Ult, right? And that's how we're gonna do the Narset. I know Narset will end up showing up in actual decks, but we're gonna focus on having fun with her and try to get to that instant ultimate. Right, this is this revised, so like 3 of these decks are the same. We do have a Yadaro cycle, and then I want to do a Storm Wild Caprador self damage with the mentor card, the captain or something like that from Guild of Ravnica, that takes, whenever she takes damage, your opponent takes damage. Figured there could be a cool little self damage combo between those 2 cards. So that's what I have so far. And then of course we're going to be doing a lot more this morning. I'm going to be going for a couple hours, like I already said. It's 11 and Eva has work till 3, and then I want to have a little bit of a break for me, so maybe 11 to 2, maybe 11 to 1:30, something like that. Give everybody a general idea. Now before we go ahead and hop into building new decks, I'll go ahead and take y'all through all of these that I already have built up. I think going to visual will be the best. Yeah, I know the deck has too few cards in it. And this is obviously way overpowered. You see main has 55 cards, and it has oh no, I did add in the lands here. Well, maybe I actually finished this deck out. It looks like very generic lands, though. I didn't actually go through and look at shit. But the idea for this, right? So everybody knows about turn 3 Nissa, right? You can get down Nissa super quick, and then you're just off to the races. Well, this is basically going off that same idea, and we can sort of up the counts of Arboreal Grazer / Paradise Druid. Those 2 slots you can always throw in Goose or Geese, I guess, and trying to think of the 0/3 Elemental one that taps for mana. Either which way, y'all can always throw in more of those to increase your chances of hitting the Luka. But what you do then is you throw down the Luka, and then you immediately -2 exile target creature you control, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with higher converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order. Well, here's the thing. If you only have an Impervious Great Worm, right? So you have 2 drops, then obviously you don't minus on your 1 drops, because you're just going to hit a 2 drop. So you minus on your 2 drops, and then you hit a Great Worm. Boom. Right? So you go turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, boom. Makes sense? But in all reality, we're going to be going for the turn 4. So that way you can, as I said, get the Footfall Crater, that kind of stuff. Right? Enchanted Land has tap. Target creature gains trample and haste until end of turn. Well, you put trample and haste on a 16/16 with indestructible. Seems pretty good. We have fling, so we can trample, haste it, and then fling for a total of 32 damage, which is insane. Shadow Spear, it'll give you lifelink, not just trample, but lifelink as well. So a couple things I want to try out here in this deck, and then obviously we have risk factor in case we don't have the flings to completely finish them off. Figured risk factor will help us draw into the Lukas and whatnot. But obviously the deck has some revision. But the general idea is you ramp into the Luka, your only top end is the Great Worm. Boom, Great Worm on the field, and then you just sort of have fun with it, right? You spice it up a little bit. Some Shadow Spear, some Footfall, some Fling of Rings. Anyways. Then we have Dimir Flash, which a lot of cards in this deck that yeah, this one is one of the ones. 39 main. You won't be able to play 39 cards because you gotta have lands, but the idea is to just put everything that I was thinking about in here. So, excuse me. I didn't get any water before the stream today. Y'all are going to have to excuse me until pretty much the first break, which will be around 12:15-ish, whatever. So, there's some obvious ones, right? We have the Cunning Night Bonder, flash spells, or I'm sorry, spells with flash you cast, cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. That's a pretty obvious one. The Sea Dasher Octopus. Mutate for 2 mana, which is super sweet and I think super broken because it's 1 in a blue, right? It's not green and a blue like the Parcel Beast. This is 1 in a blue, so it can slide into almost every deck and have a cheap mutate. Which I'm not gonna say mutate's gonna be great, okay, but it's gonna be fun. Don't get me wrong. There are gonna be some really awesome decks to come out with mutate. Do I think it's gonna be meta? Not really. Unfortunately, strategies like that, like mono green, right? You don't see mono green being played. You don't see go big decks really being played. And I don't think this deck's gonna hit so hard that it completely revolutionizes standard. Because a lot of the cards, they seem fun, but in all actuality, when you think about the curve of them, they're just not gonna stick comparatively, you know? Anyways. This card, Sea Dasher Octopus, will probably make it. It has flash. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Great. And mutate for 2. It'll probably pop up in some deck somewhere. Anyways, great flash card, but another obvious one. Dirgebat is a fun one that I didn't think may pop up in some of these flash decks, but it does have flash. It has flying. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls, and your Sea Dasher Octopus can mutate for 2 mana. So, you know, it just seems a little cheaty. Anyways, we have Dream Eater as well. I thought that'd be a fun one. Slither Wisp is another new one. Whenever you cast another spell that has flash, you may draw a card and each opponent loses 1 life. I think this card will be great. It's a 3/2 flash. Sure, it's 3 mana, but it's, I don't know. It's going to be a great card. Zagoth Mamba, another new one, right? Whenever this creature mutates, target creature and opponent controls get -2/-2 until end of turn. And again, we have the Sea Dasher. I don't know if the Mamba will stay because it's a very but you know. And we have some Fairy Vandals, some Brineborn, Cutthroats, Omen of the Seas, of course, Brazen Borrowers, Keep Safe. I'm kind of interested in trying out. Counter target spell that targets a permanent you control, draw a card. Sounds good. Starlit Mantle is another form of flash. Neutralize is one of the new counter spells, right? Counter target spell or cycling of 2. Now, I'm not quite sure why you would ever use a cycling of 2, but I'm interested to see it. Y'all know I'm not a very huge fan of control in the first place, but we got to try it out. Voracious Great Shark, another flash. Whenever it enters the battlefield, counter target artifact or creature spell. So 5 mana or 4 mana if you have, you know, Cunning Night Bonder down. 4 mana, it's great. 4 mana counter card, and you get a 5/4 down. That's great. But 5 mana, I mean, still pretty good. Still solid. But yeah, so that's gonna be the flash deck. Let me make sure y'all can actually see. Yeah, y'all can see what's going on. I'll have to make sure not to lower my head too far down there. I'm excited for flash. I am as well, Steven. It seems very fun, even though it will be very controlling. We can all be sure of that. We'll be putting links in the description. I think I'm gonna put all the links to the decks in the Discord channel because I feel like that'll be easier for me to do post live stream, and I don't want to be doing this like constantly during the live stream where I'm like let me get this link and put it here, and let me get this link and put it here, because we're going to be building a lot today. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go back after the live stream, round up all the links, throw them in the Discord, because we're not just going to be using AetherHub, because last I used AetherHub, which was like last night, they were still missing some of the cards, and you know, for sake of being smooth transition tomorrow, I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we're going to be using AetherHub and MTG Goldfish to build our decks. So since we're going to be using two sites, I figure we'll use Discord after the stream, and it should be smoother, ideally. So yeah, Narset Instantal, the idea here, and obviously it's a bit wishful, you know, it's a bit wishful thinking. But you get your Chandra's Regulator down, you get your Chandra down, then you get your Narset down. You know, 2, 3, 4. Perfect curve, sure, I know, but still. So, Chandra's Regulator, whenever you activate a loyalty ability of a Chandra Planeswalker, you may pay 1. If you do copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. And actually, Fires of Invention into Narset would be the ideal play, just so you have the mana left over. That's why we are playing it. So, pay the 1, you know, whatever. It also has the added benefit of being able to discard a mountain card or a red card and draw a card, which is kind of okay considering like Fires of Invention. Once you see 3 of them, you're like, okay, 2 is okay just to make sure, but 3 is a little meh. Chandra, then, you can hit her for the 0 and put a loyalty counter on each red planeswalker, which Narset does count as a red planeswalker since she has red in the cost there. So you do this, you pay the 1, right? So altogether you're paying 1 mana to give 2 loyalty counters to your Narset that you just played, and then voila, she's at 6. And then from then on, you just try to control your opponent out, or you play whatever you want to play. Now I'm assuming there will be, like, she will fit into the already existing Jeskai Fires Planeswalker deck, because come on. But this is how I'm choosing to play her, because I don't want to go for the obvious routes. Those are going to happen. You know, let the meta figure the meta out. Okay, we're going to be here for the cool plays. So get the -6 on her immediately, and you get an emblem that reads, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage. Well, this deck doesn't play any creatures, so we're in luck. Yeah, so Fires of Invention gets down the Narset, and you have the mana to pay for the Chandra's Regulator. If you don't get down the Fires of Invention, then this can't really happen till turn 5, right? But if you can get down Fires of Invention, you have the Narset, you have the Chandra, you have the Chandra's Regulator. Turn 4, boom, Narset off, and then from then on out, every non-creature spell you play is just bonkers, right? So I chose to go for some fun stuff, like Shadow of the Sky is good removal. Elspeth Conquers Death is a fun way to also get your Narset back and get her almost immediately to ulti. What you can do is you can Elspeth Conquers Death, bring back a Narset, she'll be at 5 loyalty, and then you can Chandra for 0, and you don't even need the Regulator. And then boom, back to 6, and you get another emblem, right? So you just try to stack the emblems. Thought about something like a Spark Double, but I don't know if you play a Spark Double and you enter it as a Planeswalker, does it count as a non-creature? You know, that's because you're technically still casting a creature. It's just entering the battlefield as a different thing. So I'm thinking no, right? I'm thinking it wouldn't apply here, but I don't know. I don't know all the intricate little rules of Magic. So Elspeth Conquers Death, another great way for Narset to get to ulti. Chandra is just a fun Planeswalker that also sort of works with the Chandra's Regulator, right? You can double up her +2 or the -3 or whatever. Kiora Best of Sea God is just a fun non-creature card that gives you a creature, right? And other stuff. So that's pretty much the idea for this Narset deck here. Again, just looking at some of the more fun things. Yudaro, I don't think I finished. You could tell when I started getting sleepy. Because again, this was all last night after work. So a Yudaro cycling deck, and basically this is just going to be maybe a Boros. I'm thinking it's going to be Boros cycling deck based off a lot of the new cycling cards. So Splendor Mare, cycling whenever you cycle it, puts a lifelink counter on target creature. Figured if you could do this on your Yudaro, you know, it's okay. Reptilian Reflection. I'm really interested in this card. It's 3 mana that has the potential of giving you a 5/4 dinosaur with trample and haste, which is, you know, kind of cool in my opinion. Savi Thundermane. This card is actually in our Stormwild deck as well, and you'll see why. Whenever you cycle a card, you may pay 2. I think it's a little expensive. I'm not gonna lie. And especially since it can't just target your opponent's face, I think this card may end up getting chopped, you know? But we'll see. We'll see come time. Draenei Stinger, kind of interesting. Whenever you cycle another card, Draenei Stinger deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, you know, if you're just cycling all game, I don't know what you're going to have on the board, but it could be all right. Valiant Rescuer. I'm interested to see if some very efficient human deck comes out of this set, right? Because we have Valiant Rescuer, we have the Draenei Stinger, and these two are kind of good. And I say kind of good because y'all can't really trust my opinion too much as far as the meta goes. But kind of good humans that are cheap and involve cycling. So I'm wondering if some little cycling human cheap deck might come out. Flourishing Fox, right? Whenever you cycle another card, put a +1/+1 counter, and it cycles for 1. But yeah, this is just sort of the base deck of it. But I wanted a deck specifically for Yadaro, even though I think Yadaro will be one of those cards that just gets splashed into a lot of red decks because it's solid, you know. It is solid, and I don't mean as a 4-of like what we have here. We have it as a 4-of because we're trying to play it. It'll be like a 1-of in decks, you know. If it happens, it happens. If you get to late game and you can throw it down, great. If not, cycle it. It's not terrible. But then we have this, and you'll see Yadaro appears again. But we have Storm's Wrath and Deafening Clarion, and then we have the Stormwild Capradors and Truefire Captains. Now, the Storm's Wraths, I'm a little bit skeptical of, and Deafening Clarions as well. I want some way to keep my Truefire Captain alive, because obviously she's going to be taking a lot of damage. Now, the Stormwild Caprador, on the other hand, perfectly fine. If non-combat damage would be dealt to Stormwild Caprador, prevent that damage, put a +1/+1 counter for each 1 damage dealt this way. So, we go to Deafening Clarion, we board wipe them, and we put 3 counters on our Caprador. So now it's a, what? 3 counters, it's a 3/6. Is that right? No, 4/6. Can't count. It's a 4/6. So, fantastic. We go to Storm's Wrath, 4 counters. It goes from a 4/6 to an 8/10. Crazy. Crazy. Then we have Fight as 1 because Stormwild Caprador, non-human, Truefire Captain, human. Great way to give them both indestructible and +1/+1 for a quick little turn. And then, of course, giving your Truefire Captain indestructible allows you to play the Deafening Clarion in the Storm's Wrath and deal that much damage to your opponent. You'll build up your Stormwild Caprador, huge. You can swing in with your Truefire Captain if she has the indestructible. And she has Mentor, so like, say you don't get your Stormwild Caprador there, she can Mentor the Stormwild Caprador, right? So, I don't know, a lot of cool things I feel like coming out of this set, but as far as like shaking the meta, I don't really know. Draenei Stinger, I just felt like would be a good little thing, considering I also had, oh yeah, Marauding Raptor, gonna be a fun little piece. It doesn't work with the Truefire Captain, granted, but it does work wonders with the Stormwild Caprador, right? Caprador only costs 2 mana now, and whenever it comes down, it's immediately gonna get plus 2 counters on it, right? So it goes up to 3/5. So pretty fantastic there. And we have a Savi Thundermane here. I thought about going for a little cycling under sprinkling. I'm missing a word here. Anyways, in this deck, and I figured Savi Thundermane, you could actually pay the 2, and it deals 2 damage to target creature. It doesn't say it has to be target opponent creature. So you can deal 2 damage to your own Stormwild Captor, put +2 counters on it, you know, which will equate in +2 damage to your opponent's face, hopefully, but then you also gain 2 life, so kind of cool there. And then as well, you can deal 2 damage to your Truefire Captain, which will deal 2 damage to your opponent's face, and you'll gain 2 life, so kind of cool there. But yeah, this is actually a real cool combo, the Stormwild and the Marauding. But I just like this card, the Bird Goat. I feel like it's gonna be fun. So I think that's all I had, right? Stormwild, Yadaro, Narset, Dimir, Luka, and Stormwild. So now we're into actually building new decks. I'm gonna see what all y'all are saying. You putting links? Okay, yeah. Got all of that so far. So let's go ahead and hop into some new decks. And what I typically do is I'll pull up the deck builder here, and you'll see I already have this previous deck. And yes, I'm sure I would like to clear it, reset all, and then we'll go search for Ikoria. Actually, tell you what, I don't like doing it there, so we're gonna do it here. And this way we can just go. Auto actually is fine because it goes from mythic rare down. And we're going to take a look at some of these cards that we want to actually build decks around that I think will be fun and have some use. So there's Seville, Bane of Monsters, 2-mana human rogue with death touch. I'm sorry, I was trying to read two things at once. That's what happens. At the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with downing counters, blah blah blah. That is a combo I'm looking to look at. Humans, right? I know people are thinking Mardu humans. What about Jund humans? Is that what's? Hold up. There's a card. There's a card that gives your legendary humans indestructible. Is it red black? Is it green black? What is it? Is it white black? Sorry. I realized how far away I was scooted from my mic, and I was like, I should probably scoot up a little bit. There it is. General's Enforcer. Legendary humans you control have indestructible. It's Orzhov. Okay, maybe Mardu humans is the way to go. But General Kudo... Alright, let's see what we can do with Mardu humans. General K. What was the other one? General Enforcer? I think it was General Enforcer. Am I wrong? That's going to be a fun card. Hunted Nightmare. Let's go ahead and pull that up to the side so I don't forget it. Bum 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 bum. General's Enforcer. Yep. So, and you got the Judith, right? Bum, 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 bum. Now let's check out Ikoria. What is no? All right. Well, time to hop over here to the advanced search. So we want humans. Oh, well, I wanted humans. Guess it helps if I click on it. We're looking at Mardu, right? At most these colors, and we're looking for all of them in Ikoria because we can use the MTG arena search to search for all those humans. So we're gonna be sorting it by CMC because that's how I read best. Now, we have General's Enforcer, Legendary, other creatures you control whenever non-token, blah, blah, blah. And this says +1/+1. Okay, so... Whisper Squad is going to be great in Pauper, I feel like. Well, maybe not great, but it's going to be good. I feel like it'll have its place in Pauper. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. I feel like Drannith Magistrate just should go in there based off what it does. Alright. We can smooth the numbers later. Drained Stinger is in Mardu, but if we're not going to go for the full-blown cycling, then it's not really worth it. But there is also Valiant Rescuer, so as I said earlier, there's room for a little cycling deck with humans. I feel like that may be more Boros-oriented, right? Disclaiming Mentor. That's on non-humans though, right? That's what all the mentors are. Lava Brink Venturer. 3 mana for a 3/3. As it enters the battlefield, choose odd or even and has protection from each converted mana cost of the chosen value. No. Chance, quit scrolling through the menus. What was it? Lava Brink something? Venturer? Certainly one to try out, right? Seems like a good human. Night Squad Commando. Whenever Night Squad enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a human this turn, create a 1/1. I mean, that's popper. Attacks other humans you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. That's a maybe. Like, if there's a theoretical possibility of us getting up enough humans to actually swing in early and deal some serious damage, maybe. But more than likely, no. 3 mana, whenever you cycle a card, tap target creature an opponent controls. Oh, human cycling seems kind of alright. I do like this one. Sonorous Howl Bonder. Each creature you control with Menace can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. I'm going to open that, and this and Hunted Nightmare are going to sort of, you know, they'll go all the way over here to the left, because those are cards I want to look at for the future, for future decks. Okay, 1/1, no. Lurking, Deadeye, enters battlefield, destroy target creature that was dealt the damage. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks. Oh, Winota's another one that we got to build one around, right? So wait, that's it. That's all the humans. Seriously? It's all the humans in red, white, and black from Ikoria, huh? It's not as much as what I thought originally. Let's see what humans we have to play with in Mardu from Standard in an MTG Arena. You know what I can actually do? I can throw this there, and y'all can actually look with me. You know what deck you should build? A Godzilla deck. Oh, for sure, Isaac. For sure. Build something black, white, black. White, black. Yeah, I want to try Hunted Nightmare, actually. Is that a website that shows all the new cards? Yes, there's Scryfall, there's MTG Goldfish, which will allow you to build decks and see the cards, and there's Aether Hub, which will allow you to build decks. 4 Integrity, 4 Dire Taxes, 2 Sanctuary Lockdown, 2 Boros Challenger, 3 Aurelia, 2 Tajik, 4 Judith, 4 Fireblade, 4 Hero. Oh, Hero. Oh, yeah, I forgot all about Hero. 2 General and 4 General Kutro. That looks spicy. Haktos for more protection. Did you get the one that pulls humans from deck when non-humans attack? No, that one probably won't go into our human tribal, but it is over here on the to build list. So yeah, I actually completely forgot about Hero of Precinct 1. So there's that card, which is fantastic. Let's check back on our deck. Where are we at? Alright, well if that's the case, let me go ahead and scroll this over to... Oh, Unchained Berserker's a human too. Interesting. You got Wintermore Commander, which is more night-based than human, really. You have Imperious Oligarch, which gives you a little Afterlife token. 2/1 with Vigilance. Teysa Karlov is a human. Huh. Fireblade Artist. Yeah, I think you had said that in your deck, didn't you? You said Fireblade Artist. Stormfist Crusader is a good one as well. So yeah, I think Hero could fit into a human Hero Mardu. Oh man, should have typed in more than that. There it is. Alright, so hero. Draenith Magistrate, I still feel like we probably want in. Lava Bring Venturer, though, if we're playing a hero Precinct 1, we may save the Lava Bring Venturer for the Boros cycling that I was talking about, right? She could go there. I was thinking maybe she could go in the Stormwild deck, but she sort of caps herself off considering Storm's Wrath is 4 and Deafening Clarion's 3, but where are we at? We're back here. Okay, hero. Right. Let me actually check back to your suggestions. Those were pretty good. Dire Tactics. I completely forgot about that. Alright, so Dire Tactics is from the new set. Sanctuary Lockdown. That's that. Hold up. My goodness, all the tabs. Of course. Sanctuary Lockdown. Yeah, humans you control get +1/+1. Tap 2 humans you control. Tap creature and opponent controls. Seems pretty good. So there's also Fireblade Artist. I feel like that's a good one. Dire Tactics. Super excited about that card. But that's all from the new, right? We got the General Kudrow, Dire Tactics, Draenith Generals, Sanctuary. Are there any more new cards that we would potentially be throwing in here from humans as far as type go? I guess I should also go type in humans in the card description and see what we have there, right? So let's see. Let's go back. Mark this out on the type line, and instead in the text line we'll put humans, right? And this should still be set to Ikoria. It is indeed. Alright, so we also have Bastion of Remembrance. Enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 whenever a creature you control dies. Sorry, reading problems. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That seems pretty interesting. Might be a little hard to fit into the deck, but it seems interesting. Forbidden Friendship. We're not exactly going for a human, non-human sort of deck there. Garrison Cat. Again, not going for that, but, you know, sure, it's there, I guess. Okay, so that's it. Well, Bastion of Remembrance. There's battlefield, create a 1/1 whenever a creature you control dies. That could actually be decent, because whenever a creature we control dies, Judith is going to be doing stuff as well, right? We'll see. We're going to go ahead and throw it in, and we may cut it. We may cut it later, right? But this, in general, is going to be the Mardu humans, and of course, we'll do some more work on it. But like I said, today we're going to be focusing on building up a lot of decks. That way, tomorrow I can sort of import them, see what I'm liking, see what I want to play, fill them out, run it. All right, so this will be Mardu humans. There's got to be something else though in Mardu colors that gives you something good when your creatures die. What is it? What is it I'm thinking of? I mean, there's Tesa, but if none of the humans have anything that procs off them dying, then it doesn't matter, you know? Sure, we have Imperious Oligarch as well. I don't know. Ooh, Robber of the Rich is a human. That's a good card. Good card. Storm Herald. We need to build a Storm Herald Colossification deck. Y'all don't let me forget that either. Priest is a human. Priest of Forgotten Gods. Pretty good human as well. Terranica is a human. That's interesting. Linden, human. Worthy Knight is a human, but again, that's more knight focused than anything. Gideon becomes a human. So when Gideon would become a 4/4, he would become, you know, 5/5 or 6/6 if you had the added stuff down. So that's actually kind of interesting. He's classified as a human soldier, for anyone wondering. What else we got here? Bishop of Wings is a human. Oz the Marshal, but Oz the Marshal was never that good. Giant Killer is a human. That's kind of interesting, because Giant Killer was kind of good. Alright, so we'll just save this, and we'll go back to the deck builder. And close it. Now, y'all wanted to see a black deck, right? A black deck. We can... Hunted Nightmare. Wasn't that? Yeah. 3 mana. So this is the card that I wanted to look at. When Hunted Nightmare enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature they control. Where here's the thing. If they don't control a creature, they don't get the death touch counter. Or, alternatively, if you immediately kill the creature, it doesn't matter. So, 4/5 for 3 mana with Menace. Do I want to play this in a Menace Tribal or in a Mono Black Devotion variant deck, right? Let's see. Let's see what we have. Because I'm definitely doing a Menace Tribal. So before we hop into that, let's see what we have by means of Mono Black Devotion. Well, we'll do exactly these colors from Ikoria. So let's see what we have as far as black cards go for Ikoria. Let's do CMC. Spell is flash as long as you control a permanent with flash. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, destroy target creature. This is like an instant speed. Can't think of the name, but it doesn't target planeswalkers. So, Does 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Well, that's alright. Serrated Scorpion. 1 mana for a 1/2 that has a decent on death clause. Whenever this creature mutates, that's right. This is a good one. Boot Nipper. Let's see. Heartless Act is going to be some good removal. It's like it's like a better version of what's it called, if you ask me? Cast Down. Instead of its limit being creatures with counters, you know, it's legendary creatures. Like, that's what Cast Down is. I guess I explained that a little backwards. Whatever. Turn 2 target creature cards, so mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a death touch counter on either of them, and then a menace counter on either of them as well. Well, this already has a menace counter, so you'd only be getting it back and putting a death touch counter on it, which death touch menace is still very harrowing on a 4/5. But Grim Dancer, another. Oh man, why do they both have to be 3 mana cards though? Enters the battlefield with your choice of 2 different counters from among Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink. So not quite a 4/5, but it could have, you know, Menace and Lifelink, or Menace and Death Touch, or Death Touch and Lifelink. Go nuts. Let's see what else we got here. Dirge Bat, right? That's okay. So maybe you could do a little weird mutate Mono Black Devotion, maybe. I don't know. The top of your cards, put 2 of them into your hand, the other into the graveyard. Deals 2 damage. Wow. There's Void Beckner, if you can ever get that down, right? So realistically, as far as Mono Black Devotion goes, it gets Serrated Scorpion, which is kind of decent. And it gets Hunted Nightmare. Because you're not going to play Grim Dancer over Hunted Nightmare, and you don't want to fill that 3 slot up, which is just nonsense, right? So, Hunted Nightmare. Dirge Bat on its own is too expensive, right? Paying 6 mana to destroy target creature or planeswalker. I mean, it can also give one of your creatures flying, which is something. I don't know. I mean, 4 mana for a 3/3 flying flash creature, that already isn't bad. And then just having the additive, like, hey, you have 6 mana? destroy something. It's really not that bad. So maybe Dirgebat and Hunted Nightmare made into a mono black devotion deck, but I don't feel like that warrants us rebuilding a whole deck, because that's an add-in kind of thing. Like Serrated Scorpion, there's 3 cards that were pretty much thrown into that card, or to that deck. So I don't think that warrants a whole deck on its own. But maybe a Menace Tribal. So let's see. Hunted Nightmare is for sure going into a Menace Tribal. So let's reset all of our filters and Hunted Nightmare. Let's get some of those in there. And then what was the other? We got the Hunted Nightmare check. Sonorous Howlbonder, right? 3 mana, 2/2. Each creature you control with Menace can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures, which is awesome. So, what is it? Sonorous Howlbonder or something like that? Yeah. And now, time to do the deep search. We can close out of that. That didn't become fruitful. We added that. That's not becoming a whole thing. Alright, so what are we looking for? Menace, right? So, no? Is Menace not there? Where would Menace go? Well, this has Menace. That's in card text. That's weird. But this is also why I use 2 sites, right? Although Ikoria, yeah, some of the Ikoria cards may be missing from here. I don't know. I wonder if I can just type it in here. That's not Menace. Menace? Yeah, Menace. I was like, where did that extra N come from, Chance? Wait a minute. So we're just gonna look up all the Menace cards actually in Ikoria, because you never know. You never really know. Oh wow, that is it. So this didn't let me down this time. Hey, look at there. Alright, so let's look at all these Menace cards. There's Labyrinth Raptor. Whenever a creature you control with Menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. And then in black and red, creatures you control with Menace get +1/+0. That's definitely getting added in for sure. Crystalline Giant. Oh man, we have to build a deck with that. I don't have it up here, but that is. That's a card that for sure needs to be saved, and we got the Howlbonder, so we have a Winota and a Crystalline Giant that still needs to be built. Alright, so Menace. We'll start from the left and go to the right. Destroy target creature, put a Menace counter on a creature you control. No, not exactly what we're looking for. This is again put Menace Menace, whenever this creature mutates, each opponent discards a card. 4/4, mutates for 4. 4/4/4. 4/4/4. Now, basically this is just a way to get Menace on a creature. Maybe. Ferocious Tigerilla. Man, I love this card. It may only be a common, but I love this fucking card. Enters the battlefield with your choice of a trample counter or a Menace counter on it. 4 mana for a 4/3. I mean, if we're going to do that, I feel like we'd rather do this, right? To where when we do play it in for the mutate, sure, we may only be getting a stats boost, but we're also going to be making our opponent discard a card. Enters the battlefield, put a Menace counter on target non-human creature you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with Menace for 3 mana and tap it. That seems a bit slow though, right? Because you get it down and you have to have the non-creature that doesn't have Menace that you put the Menace counter on. Otherwise, it's like whatever. You're paying 3 mana for a 3/2. But then following that turn, if it can live, how many cards are you actually going to have down that have Menace on them? 1. And this is battling the spot for the Hunted Nightmare and the Howlbonder. So no, it just doesn't make it. Grim Dancer. This is going to be such a heavy 3-drop deck. Wow. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a creature with Menace. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. I like the idea of that. I do. And then there's obviously what's the night card? What is that night card? It's everyone's favorite guessing game. Stormfist Crusader. Right. Fantastic card. So that should be enough to hit it, right? Yeah, Stormfist. And now let's check out all the Menace cards we have in Standard currently. Alright, so we have Dread Malkin. Sacrifice another creature or planeswalker, put 2+1/+1 counters on Dread Malkin. Starts out as a 1/1 with Menace. So was there anything... Where are we looking? Where are we looking? Where are we looking? I guess this is fine, yeah. We're not really going to want to be sacrificing things, I don't think. You have Rakdos Trumpeteer. You have Piper of the Swarm, which gives you a Rat's Menace, which is a little weird, but it still does have Menace. You have Pestilent Spirit, another 3-mana great Menace card. Menace, Death Touch, instant and sorcery spells you control have Death Touch. I mean, Immolation Shaman, you can pay 5 mana and it gains Menace, right? That's almost worth it. You have Ongroth, which gives all your creatures Menace. You can do an Ongroth Menace deck, and then you're sort of a little bit more free to play with things, right? You have Iron Bully, which is a 1/1 with Menace that when it enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on something. You have Glaive of the Guild Pack, which gives you +1/+0, and your creature has Vigilance and Menace as well. So, that's all the current standard current standard cards that have Menace. Honestly, I kind of like what we have here right now. I feel like building out from that wouldn't be too hard. You could also... Is this just all of the Ikoria cards? This is, I believe. Okay, well then you could also play the Duskfang Mentor, right? How many non-humans do you actually have? Labyrinth Raptor, Hunted Nightmare, and Grim Dancer. You can put a lifelink counter on any of those, but this one can already get a lifelink counter on it. I don't know, this may be the base for your Menace deck here, right? And you just sort of build off of that. Am I missing a Menace card over here? Masker Girl. Masker Girl has Menace. Now she is kind of a board wipe. God Eternal Bantu has Menace. But again, that's back to like sacrificing and stuff. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, Masker Girl or God Eternal Bantu might make that cut. But for now, we're just gonna label this Menace Tribal. And it'll be good enough for now, right? We understand the direction that this deck is going in. A lot of people are going to be like, no chance. I don't understand the direction that this deck is going in. Well, here's the thing. For me, whenever I see a deck like this, I'm like, okay, all the creatures are pretty much filled. We just got to even the numbers out a little bit and find the cards that work on curve with these cards to sort of complement them, right? So you have a low-costing creature curve. Then you're going to want things that respond for low cost and just make the deck aggro, right? That's what it feels like this deck is. It's like a weird aggro deck. A weird can't block me aggro deck. Right, so you're going to want cheap removal so that way your Menace creatures can just constantly swing in. You keep your opponent's creature count low so your life doesn't matter too much, right? And yeah, you have a little bit of lifelink here from the Grim Dancer. The Mentor may not be bad, just as like a 1 or 2 of. Just being able to give your Labyrinth Raptor or your Hunted Nightmare lifelink might be alright. But then you also have Tentative Connection. What you take their creature and just swing in for the victory, maybe? I don't know. But I'm gonna call that Menace Tribal good. Good to go. Because again, there's not much else to it besides adding in the instant speeds, the sorceries, or enchantments, or potentially a planeswalker. You know, from here, it's just a spice. But all the new cards, for the most part, I think, are in there. I guess we could go look at some like red-black sorceries and enchantments and all that stuff that might complement the deck well, but we're not too worried about getting these decks perfect. We're more so worried about just finding a lot of like really awesome combos. Y'all know me. You know, the meta is going to work itself out. We're just here to have fun while those people search around. Fiend Artisan can actually go in this deck, which is a little interesting. I gotta remember Fiend Artisan is just gonna be a nice complement to some decks. Ooh, scrolled a little too far down there. Go for blood. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, or cycle it for 1. That's not terrible. Heartless Act. Yeah, see, things like this probably just go into the deck because it's easy. It works. It's great. All the above. Oh yeah, we got to build some ultimatum decks. Not necessarily this one, okay, but we do need to build some ultimatum decks. That's something that needs to happen. I love the idea of this card. Like the look of it, it's just so beautiful. That is one thing that I love about Magic. The art. The art is just it's always so good, especially on this new set. You know, honestly, this new set could be complete trash all through, but this new art where they have this like comic book style over texturing on things, it's God, I love it. I do. Lord Drakus could be fun, speaking of which. I wasn't meaning to stop there, but it could be fun. Talking about a realize you choose non-land, graveyard, and exile it. I'm cycling for 1. Well, it's not that bad, actually. Creature mutates, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Mysterious Egg. I don't think I've actually seen this card. 1 mana for a 0/2. It's a creature egg. It's not even an artifact. It's just creature. It's a colorless creature. That's just weird. I'm not seeing any. Oh wait. If a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a player or to a permanent or a player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Oh. Odd converted mana cost. So Stormfist wouldn't like double damage us, which is good. Labyrinth Raptor wouldn't deal double damage, but the Hunted Nightmare. I mean, yeah, that's not bad, right? We might throw one in here as a little splashy splash, right? You're gonna comment on your turn, exile target. Oh yeah. This is the one that's kind of like Nightmare Shepherd. Right. I am interested in building out a lot of decks, but you know that's how it usually goes for me. So. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Well, that's not bad if it is the right thing for us, right? Because like surprising someone with an extra 4 damage from Hunted Nightmare could be the lethal they don't want. Also, I'd like to say I love Ram Through. It's instant speed. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller. It's so beautiful. That's a cycle card. Rumbling Rock Slide deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. That's an interesting one. Bum 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 bum. Spell Eater Wolverine has double strike as long as there are 3 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. Double strike, huh? 3 mana for a 3/2 with double strike, so 6 damage altogether. I mean, that might be alright. That might be worth something. Well, you put Menace double strike. I don't know. I don't know how well that. Song of Creation is a card we need to play with as well. For sure, for sure. It's a fun one. Sprite Dragon. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sprite Dragon. Flying Haste. I mean, maybe. We've seen cards like this before, though, and they never really did well. Creatures your opponent's control get -1/-1. Nope, won't be good enough. Tentative Connection, we already have that in here. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield lifelink counter. That's not bad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that's not bad. That is bad. You have a 5 mana reanimate card that gives your creatures haste, and haste is so much more valuable than lifelink. So, Unexpected Fangs, 2 mana instant, put a +1/+1 counter on a lifelink counter on target creature. +1/+1 counter and a lifelink. I mean, oh yeah, right. I'm sitting here trying to add it in. We'll throw in 1 or 2 just as a like maybe thing, you know. Maybe, baby. Target uses +2/+2 into an turn. If it's blocking instead, put put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Huh. Cycling of 2. 2/2/2. I mean, it's interesting, but we're not really going to be blocking. We're swinging in. Why does Winota have this weird, like... I don't know. Any Hoosers, what else are we looking for here? There's Yudaro. Not exactly a menace creature, just a fun creature, you know what I mean? And yeah, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I actually haven't seen this other card, the Zilorth Strength Incarnate. I haven't seen that card at all. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't know what the actual Godzilla card looks like, you know? Alright, so that'll do it. This will be our Mardu Tribal. I don't know if it saved the other one or not, but, you know, whatever. If it did, it did. If not, there we go. We got another one. I like black. I already have a Menace deck ready to go. Yeah, Menace seems fun. Like I said, there may be some changes to the mono black devotion. You might be able to still get some value out of that. Hunted Nightmare. Oof. My only thing is like, man, it's a 3-drop. You know what other 3-drops really good in mono black? Rotting Regisaur. It's a 7/6. So you have now a 5/4 and a 7/6 3-drop, which is like, damn. We can't see the Aether Hub screen. Oh, right. Let's do deck building. Alright, so let's go back in here. I said Mardu Tribal on here. Silly chance. Again with the extra N. Menace Tribal. Menace. Alright, so this is what we ended up throwing all together. And again, this is just sort of a collaboration. We put Obosh in here because it could potentially be sort of okay. We'll see. That, and I just kind of want to play Obosh. Obosh might get his own deck, though. Its own deck. I don't know what the hell this is. It's a Hellion Horror. We are going to be playing a lot with the companions, but this is why we're not finishing decks fully, because there's so many I want to play. So yeah, here's this. Sorry about all that. Thero Absolution, Afterlife. Does adding green for Vraska worth it for the Menace deck? I don't know what green cards have Menace. I don't think... Let's see. You got Vraska Regal Gorgon, which can give your creatures Menace, and Swarm Guild Mage. I don't know if splashing green. Okay, so I got back through all of those. Want to try Swathcutter Giant with Insatiable Hemophage. Free board wipe every turn. Insatiable Hemophage. What is goodness gracious chance? Okay, so yeah, this is the one I need to be on. Insatiable Hemophage. What would I find that on? We can go back to the deck builder probably and find it. Alright, so we're all good there. Did I spell insatiable right? Lord knows. Oh. Maybe I should reset my insatiable. Oh yeah, I spelled it right. Look at that. When this creature mutates, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life. Where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. Oh, you mean because it's Death Touch. Right. You mean because... You know, you can put Death Touch in other ways. That is gonna be interesting though. Another Death Touch tribal. Rakdos is the better build for Menace? Yeah. Golgari Queen Ultimate is a win con? Yeah, I got what you were saying, Steven. I don't know if throwing in the Vraska. I mean, you do get what's that fucking card? You get Assassin's Trophy, right? Things of that nature, but I don't know. I want to try Luminous Brood Moth with Afterlife and Cruel Celebrant. Yeah, that for sure. For sure seems good. Alright. We're nearing an hour actually now for this build brew thing, which is fantastic. 22 viewers. By the way, hello everyone that is just now joining us or whatever, you know, joined us after the intro. Hope you're all having fantastic days, nights, mornings, whatever time it may be, wherever you are. We have already got several decks built up. I actually just want to keep this pulled up so we can see where we're at. So Eerie Combo doesn't count. The Gruul Luka, turn 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 decks built up for tomorrow, which is fantastic. And of course, we're going to have to go back and build some of these out. But now I just want to go back to our Ikoria page, which is right here. And we'll start back up here towards the top because, again, we got sidetracked. Alright, so we'll come back to the humans later. We started doing Mardu humans. We didn't exactly build out a Chevelle Bane of Monsters. But you know what, actually? What about a Golgari human, non-human tribal? It's not really a tribal, then I guess if it's humans and non-humans. But you get what I'm saying. A human, non-human synergistic deck. You have the Fiend Artisan. You have the Chevelle Bane of Monsters, whatever. You also get Kogla, right? Kogla. You can throw a Vivian in there. That's not bad. I don't think Godzilla would make it in there, but I do need to remember that. So, Golgari, good stuff is kind of what we're looking at here. Vivian. Actually, where is Kogla at? Where is the King Kong? Kogla, the Titan Ape. Can I pull this up so y'all can see it a little bit better? I can. There we go. Titan Ape enters the battlefield to fight subject one target creature you don't control, and this is 6 mana for a 7/6. Whenever attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. But then the real sweet thing is pay 2 mana, return target human you control to its owner's hand. Kogla gains indestructible until end of turn. So I'm interested to see what humans have enter the battlefield effects. It's gonna be interesting. So text would be enter. Yeah, hey, look at there, enter the battlefield. I've done this a few times, huh? Humans and Ikoria, right? Because the kind of annoying thing, you can't hit standard here because Ikoria isn't technically in standard, and search for Ikoria plus standard. So these are all the enter the battlefield humans from Ikoria. These are all a little too expensive to be bouncing, right? There's Battlefield put a trample counter on target non-human you control, but Kogla doesn't have trample, doesn't have anything along those lines. So these mentor cards wouldn't be bad because you could re-enter them and give the counter to the Kogla, right? Kogla, the vigilance, the trample, the flying. That's weird to think about. A Simic Kogla deck where you give your Kogla flying. Kogla, whatever it's called. That's kind of interesting. Lifelink, meh. But Vigilance, Flying, those both sound really good. Some weird Bont Kogla deck. Kogla. I'll never understand. So let's see what Enter the Battlefield humans we have here. A lot. Actually, a lot. Acclaimed Contenders are not a bad Enter the Battlefield. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you can reveal an aura, equipment, or legendary artifact. You can also reveal a knight, but more than likely not going to. So an aura, equipment, or legendary artifact could be kind of cool, because then you could get something like what's that 1-mana card? I can't think of the name now. We added it in one of our other decks. In this deck, Shadow Spear. Right? You could dive into your deck and find a Shadow Spear, and then equip that to your Kogla, which gives it lifelink and trample and +1, so it becomes an 8/7. What else do we got here? What other human Enter the Battlefield things do we have? Agent of Treachery. Alright, so Simic humans might happen, right? Because you can pay 2 mana with Kogla to rebalance your Agent of Treachery back to your hand. Now, does it cost 7 more mana? Sure, whatever. But we're not concerned with the things that hold us back. We're concerned with the things that seem the most awesome. So Kogla, Agent of Treachery, wombos of combos may be happening. We'll see. We shall see. But that does sound super duper spicy, doesn't it? What else we got? Massacre Girl. Massacre Girl has an Enter the Battlefield effect. Is a human. Plague Crafter. Siona. Elite Guard Mage, if we're looking at that Bont one again. Rolesk is actually a human. That's very surprising. When it enters the battlefield, put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature you control. When it dies, proliferate. Eutropia is actually a human. That's interesting. You have Grumgoli. Wow. Grumgoli's sort of like a precursor to this set, right? Each other non-human creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. I still don't think Grumgoli's that good, but interesting. Alright, so a Kogla Agent of Treachery deck. I want to hear. No, sadly, King Kong is a different IP. That is sad. Legal Future Works in Scryfall. Oh, thank you. Let's check that out. Where am I missing something there? Future Standard lets you brew using this upcoming. Look at you. Look at you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. Scryfall truly is amazing. Kogla and Charming Prince. Ooh, that seems good. MTG Jesus, what is up as well? Are you in on the pre-release? I certainly hope so, man. I would like to see some content from you. Hope you're doing all right. I am. Hope you're doing well as well. But yeah, so Kogla Agent of Treachery, like a Kogla Simic deck, or maybe Kogla Bont, whatever you want to call it. Could we do it? Could we do it? You know, it might be too cost effective to bounce an Agent and Treachery, but I do like the idea of giving Kogla like flying or something along those lines, right? But this may be a deck for later. Let's focus on something a bit more centralized, right? Like a Crystalline Giant or like a Godzilla deck. Let's do the Godzilla deck. It's so on theme, right? Can I type in Godzilla here? Does that work? Of course it doesn't. I don't know what the point of putting Godzilla on a card is if it doesn't even work like that. So lethal damage dealt to creatures you control is determined by their power rather than their toughness. So. Let's start out just by checking red, green, most of these colors, and is there a way you can do mana cost? Is there a way to do? I guess not. Alright. Well, let's just look at all of the red, green. Where are we at? Creatures from Ikoria. Actually, I guess we can do this with everything, huh? I forget about that. Because it's on future standard, so it should show us. Yeah, cool. And then we'll do it by CMC, so it's easy to see. Too many C's. CCC. And we're looking for things that have high power, actually. High power. We're not looking for those high defenders, those big butt decks. We're looking for those glass cannons, if you will. So let's see. What do we have by way of glass cannons? Careless Celebrant. I mean, well, it's a little okay. Really, there's a whole lot of like creatures that have a lot of defense, but not a whole lot of offense. Where are the offensive cards? Show me the money. Crawl Harpooner. That's kind of interesting because then it goes up to 3 health and it has reach and the undergrowth effect. Maybe. Sacrifice of food. Target creature blocks Merryleaf Rider this turn if able. So maybe a food deck comes out of it. Who knows? Who knows? Wait a minute. Godzilla. Lethal damage dealt to creatures you control is determined by their power rather than their toughness. So then could we use Marauding Raptor? Right? Obviously you couldn't play a Marauding Raptor on a Marauding Raptor because it would kill it. But could you use a Marauding Raptor to get down some very spicy, interesting cards? Rimrock Knight becomes a 3/3, but you don't really block with a Rimrock Knight, so a lot of this doesn't seem that good. Underworld Ragehound seems good, but again, it attacks each combat if able, so you're really just making sure that it doesn't die, I suppose. Unchained Berserker goes up to a 3/3 as long as it's attacking. Show me the money. Annex. Annex is a good one. Because Annex can get up to like 7 power, and then it's a 7/7. Ooh. Ooh. Bone Crusher Giant. I mean, Bone Crusher Giant was already good. You're just going to throw an extra health on him? Sure. Charging Warboar. As long as you control a Domri Planeswalker, Charging Warboar gets +1/+1 and has Trample. So it goes up to a 4. It would be a 4/4 with haste and Trample. If you have a Domri. I mean, that's not bad. Certainly not too shabby. Dreamstalker Manticore becomes a 4/4. Your man, whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, deals 1 damage to any target. It's 3 mana for a 4/4 that has an additive effect. That doesn't seem too shabby either. Dun, 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 dun. Frenzied Raptor, 3 mana for a 4/4, but that's it. No added benefits, right? This is the time when you start to realize, like, oh, there's not a whole lot of creatures that have a whole lot of attack and not a whole lot of defense. There's Loathsome Chimera, 3 mana for a 4/4 as well, and it has an escape clause. +1/+1 counter when it escapes. So it'd be a 5/5. 3 mana. Well, 5 mana, I guess. Raging Crunch. 4/4. Can't attack alone for 3 mana. You have a lot of these 4/4s for 3 mana, but like... I'm not seeing a whole lot of like actual good beefy creatures that I'd want to play, you know? That like I look at and I'm like, oh yeah, this is so great. Because most of them are like 3/1s, and you're like, well, the problem with this card is not the toughness, okay? I want a fucking Godzilla deck though, I do. So. You get a 4 mana hasted 4/4. That's not bad, I guess. People played the 5 mana hasted 5/5, right? So I'm sure 4 mana hasted 4/4 can't be too much worse. Goblin Assault Team. Again, 4 mana for a 4/4 with haste. Has an on death effect, at least. Yeah, none of this stuff is like, oh, I'm so glad Neheb. Neheb becomes a 5/5 with trample. You know, gives them a little bit more stick-to-itness, I guess. Renata might be alright. Shifting Ceratops gets a little bit of a boost. Spikewheel Acrobat. I mean, you can, if you could deal damage, you get down to 3 mana 5/5. But again, you're gonna have to have the Godzilla down to make this worth. So, like, man, what are you really getting? (4/2) with haste and mentor. Barging Sergeants. Okay, I guess. I feel like there's got to be something I'm missing. Timur fires, bounce, and play agent 2 times per turn. Ooh, see? There you go, Liquid. Yeah, I'm in on the pre-release, but I don't think I can make much content. Been working 7/12s. Ah, damn. Well, one thing that I've learned with the pre-release is the nicest thing about it, having access to all the cards. That is like by far the best thing with the pre-release. Is like, I'm going to build all the decks that have all the mythic rares that I possibly can, right? Because, hey, they don't cost me anything. But yeah, that does suck, man. I understand. I recently got to the point where I don't have to work as much at my job, and I can sort of chill back a little bit. But I do appreciate you coming by and supporting the stream and chilling. Everybody, also, by the way, if you haven't already, be sure to check out MTG's content. The man puts a lot of work in, and it's very obvious. I try to put a lot of work in, but I don't feel like it's very obvious, you know? I feel like there's a lot of times where I'm like, you know, I'm going to try a new thumbnail idea. And then I work for a couple hours and I'm like, man, this looks hideous. Absolutely hideous. Anyways, back to the task at hand. So 5 mana for a 6/6, I guess. Each creature you control with power 4 or greater can't be blocked by more than one creature. Challenger Troll. That could be interesting, I suppose. Let's open the Challenger Troll up. So Renata, Annex, Marauding Raptor, kind of interesting. Ooh, Nestian Boar, 5 mana for a 10/10. All creatures able to block Nessian Board do so. Whenever Nessian Board becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller draws a card. Well, that's not that good. I'm going to swing it with my 10-10. You're going to block with all 3 of your creatures, and then you're going to draw 3 cards? I don't know. I don't know about that one. We'll open it up because so far it's the largest improvement I've seen. Ooh, Nyxborn Brute. 7/7 for 5, though. 7/7 for 5. That's not terrible, but I mean, Perforos is already a 7/6 for 5 with Indestructible. I don't know. Nihilia's Forerunner, 5 mana for a 5/5. Basically, trample and other creatures you control have trample. That's not that bad. That might be able to sneak its way in. An Ox is alright. Word Scale Crocodile becomes a 5/5. That's decent. All the ones that are just like one-off, I'm not too worried about. 'Cause it's like, is it an improvement? Sure, it's an improvement. Whatever. But it's not so much so that I'm like, yeah, let me build a whole deck around this. Yeah, I'm not really seeing... Tree Shaker Chimera. All creatures able to block Tree Shaker Chimera do so. It's an 8/8. Whenever it dies, you get to draw 3 cards instead of your opponent drawing 3 cards. So, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. And then our Arboretum Elemental. Not bad. 7/7 that has hexproof and you can invoke it in. It is 9 mana, but again, you can invoke it in. So, I don't know. I think this would be a lower cost deck, like a lower curve deck with Renata and Annex sort of nestling themselves in, and then you would just play Godzilla. Ooh, don't close out of that. Then you would just play Godzilla as an additive little thing to give them extra health, right? But I don't think Godzilla is gonna... I don't know. 5 mana for a 7/7 with trample. It's a good card. But it's too slow for the Embercleave decks. Right? Turn 5, you're trying to play Embercleave. You're not trying to play a 7/7. So, I don't know. Either which way, we have been going for quite a while now. What, an hour and a half? That's fantastic. We've gotten a lot done. We've checked out the set a ton. Secede? I don't know. Hey, what's up? It's been a while, for sure. You double the power only. Ronos. Oh, yeah, there you go, Isaac. Ronos would be very fantastic. Throw it down, double the power of everything, which then doubles the health of everything, so you don't have to worry about, like, puny little chum blocker gonna destroy your stuff. So, good to see you as well. Timur and Simic got nice ramp cards. Yeah, I've seen those. I've seen that. But anyways, yeah, we've been going for an hour and a half, so I think I am gonna take a little bit of a breather here, and we're gonna take a pause. Everybody, stand up, stretch, all that good stuff. You know, like you should. What's up, Chance? Greetings from PH. Is that Philadelphia or Philippines? I don't know. I don't know my abbreviations, obviously, but yeah, we're gonna take a slight little break here. 10 minutes tops. And then we'll get back into the brews. For everyone that is interested in finding these brews, seeing them, whatever, you can find them on my my Aether Hub page. So I will go ahead and copy and paste that here in the chat for all of you lovely folks. And then you can go sort of check out the decks that we've already done. If you have deck suggestions, if you have cards you'd like for me to build around, if you have an entire deck list that you would like me to see, submit it. But first and foremost, stretch those legs, stretch the arms, stand up, get something to drink, use the bathroom, all that good stuff. Philippines, nice to see you out. Well, hello, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, night. I don't know. It's 12:34 here, so it's like midday. How long will you break? Probably like 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So, yeah, everybody, stretch, all that good stuff. Alrighty. We are back. So, realize Godzilla, probably not going to be too much of a build around for it. You want to see something that exploits Ozolith, and Timur Ultimatum is so OP. So, Ozolith is something that I would actually like to build around as well. Maybe a Crystalline Giant Ozolith deck, because then you could take the counters off of this card, right? The Hexproof or whatever, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, Vigilance, whatever, and put it onto something else. Alright, so let's see. Let's reset our filters. Ozolith. Legendary artifact, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. Alright, so the cool thing with this is it's any counters. So, Lifelink, Vigilance, Flying, Hexproof, any of that stuff. And it's only whenever it leaves the battlefield, so you can bounce it, whatever. Let's see. First things that come to mind is like a Simic Thassa deck, right? Where you can just bounce creatures that have counters, such as Yorvo, whatever. And then just re-put those counters on the same creatures. They get really big. There's that. So you could do like an Ozolith, Simic, Great Hinge, Thassa, bounce sort of deck, right? Just go for counters. Or you go for something like Crystalline Giant. You have combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that Crystalline Giant doesn't have on it. From among Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink. Hexproof is really the counter that I'm looking for there. The thing with Crystalline Giant and the Ozolith is every turn you would be saving your counters, basically. If the Crystalline Giant gets removed, right, the Ozolith would still have the counters on it. So what would something... What? Then how you spell Crystalline? Ah, 2 L's. Alright, so it's not legendary. So we can do that. What's the... Is it Mirror? Not Mirror March or any of that. Mirror Maid, is that it? Copy of any artifact or enchantment on the battlefield. So you got a Mirror Maid copy Crystalline Giant. Can't copy the Ozolith though, because the Ozolith is legendary. You can Spark Double Crystalline Giant, and then it already has the +1/+1 counter, so that's one counter that you don't have to worry about it getting, I suppose. If you're doing an Ozolith deck, you're bouncing your stuff, right? Do I want a Crystalline Giant in this? Maybe I'm just trying to build a Crystalline Giant deck. Maybe I'm not looking at the Ozolith. Alright, tell you what. Let's clear this out. Let's do that Simic Ozolith deck I was talking about. So you're going to have Thassa. Then you're going to want a whole lot of cards that have enter the battlefield style effects. We can close out all this. We've got advanced. Enter the battlefield. Or no. You're not going to want enter the battlefield. You're going to want counters. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. I want counters first, and then I'll go back and look at enter the battlefield for the Thassa. And actually, I think finding the counters might be better just looking at Ikoria. Because Ikoria, as far as I know, is the only one that has the actual other counters on it. Let's see, put a first strike counter on it. +1, +1, +1, +1, +1, +1, +1. Put a reach counter. So we have first strike, reach here. Death touch, lifelink there. That's a bounty counter. That's something different. That's for your opponent's stuff. This can't be countered in counterspell. Counter. The Ozolith only works when creature, right? Whenever a creature you control. So the Ominous Seas, if it was to leave the battlefield, it wouldn't save those counters. Menace Death Touch with Call of the Death Dweller. Maybe. Lifelink counter. +1/+1 Menace. Trample. Trying to think of like maybe a fully grown combo, but I don't know. Grim Dancer, if it was to leave the battlefield, then you get both those counters and you re-enter it with one of the other counters. You can put one of the extra counters on something else. Helica Glider, same thing, flying first strike. Primal Empathy is... I don't know about that. It's a flying counter. Trample or Menace is 4 mana. Luminous Broodmoth. So you could have a creature die, the counters would go onto the Ozolith, and it would return with a flying counter on it. But I don't know what you do with a whole bunch of flying counters on the Ozolith anyways, you know? +1/+1/+1/+1. Choice of Vigilance or Reach. Lifelink counter. This gives you a beast that has a counter of Vigilance, Reach, or Trample. If you bounce, I don't think bouncing it with Thassa would work. Okay. First strike counter, trample counter. Flying counter or a hexproof counter. This is another thing that has a hexproof counter on it. but it's 6 mana. So you play Thassa, something else happens, you play this for 6 mana, bounce it, put the hexproof on the Ozolith. Even with hexproof though, you're still getting your stuff board wiped. Yeah, maybe we should just focus on like normal +1/+1 counters. This other stuff is cute, but maybe we just look at +1/+1 counters with the Ozolith. Is that the general consensus? Would proliferate work with the counters of all cons? I think so, but the thing is that having an extra counter of all the rest of the cons doesn't really matter, and since the Ozolith only targets one creature, putting 2 Menace counters on the same creature doesn't like really give you anything, you know? Yeah, I thought about the same thing, but like I just can't think of a way to like separate those counters, you know? Like, yeah, you can double the counters, right? Coming in your turn into Ozolith, you may move all counters from onto target creature. Yeah, so you're moving all the counters. That's why it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the point of like doubling up your Menace counters and your lifelink counters and all that. What it would actually do. But I had the same thought, Nate. I was like, oh, proliferate might actually. Oh, but yes, theoretically it would work. Now, I don't know if okay. Yeah, so this is directly with +1/+1 counters. I was about to say, I don't know if Simic Ascendancy is tied directly with +1/+1 counters or just with counters. If it was just with counters, then sure, proliferate would be kind of good there, but this still may make it into the Thassa Ozolith deck, right? And then now we can look at the enter the battlefield effects here, because Thassa is going to be Thassa's going to be doing that stuff, right? And do we have, is our deck isn't really reserved, not quite yet. So let's go future standard, enter the battlefield. Oh, well, I guess we should have specifically done creatures, right? Yeah, so let's go back. Enter the battlefield is already checked. Type line, creature, and future standard. Nope, didn't mean to go back that time, actually. So we'll sort by CMC. Okay. So there's a cool thing you could do with Charm Stray where you just continuously build up your Charm Strays and put those counters back onto one of them come your turn, right? Like you play the Charm Stray, as long as you have 2 of them, they just keep building each other with Thassa, but then also you take those counters off of the Charm Stray every time they leave the battlefield and put it onto the Ozolith, and then you like double them all up onto one, I guess. It's, I don't know. Pel Collector might be okay. Let's see. Eh. There's a battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it. So you bounce it. Counter goes to the Ozolith. Counter goes back on this. You have the +1/+1 counter you can remove and give it hexproof. You can always give it more counters. Barkite Troll might be interesting. Yeah, I mean, if Proliferate did work with it, you could use Huatli's Raptor, right, and rebounce it, and it would proliferate all the counters you have. But again, it's like a... Sorry, I know this is kind of boring, but we're looking for specific cards, you know, and there's a crap ton of cards in Standard. Yes, you can try and remember all of them, but, well, good luck. Good luck. Yorvo is the first card that comes to mind, but it's got to be something else, right? I mean, Embodiment of Agonies. Every time it enters the battlefield, it gets this similar thing where it gets the +1/+1 counter on it that you could put onto the Ozolith and then re-put onto the Embodiment, which also has Flying and Death Touch. So it's kind of like a better version of Yorvo to a degree. Of course, you have the Grim Dancer, which you could re-enter and add the extra counters elsewhere. Grim Dancer might make the cut, because even bouncing Grim Dancer once and putting one Menace and Death Touch or Menace and Lifelink counter onto the Ozolith and being able to transfer that might be worth it. We'll see. Knot of Autumn is kind of interesting. Overgrowth Elemental / Risen Reef is kind of interesting, right? Go for like an Elemental Ozolith deck. And you wouldn't even use the Ozolith, I don't feel like, as an upfront thing, but you have Amon-Amon-Ammonoth, you have Overgrowth, you have Risen Reef, you know, you just sort of throw it there in the background. I think it'd be alright there. There's a lot of enter the battlefield, but Yorvo, yeah, it enters with 4 +1/+1 counters on it, so every time you Thassa bounce it, you would remove those 4 +1/+1 counters to the Ozolith and re-enter the Yorvo, and it'd have 4 counters, and then on the next turn, your Yorvo would be up to an 8/8, right? So you'd have a turn 5 8/8 Yorvo, and then on the next turn you'd have a 12/12. And I know what you are thinking. What about Hydra's Growth? But the problem with Hydra's Growth is it has to leave the battlefield, and as soon as the creature leaves the battlefield, so too does your Hydra's Growth, right? So, I don't know. The Ozolith is... It's interesting. It's just so... It's so demanding, honestly. For it to be 1 mana, it is so demanding. So, because the creature has to leave the battlefield, you put those counters onto the Ozolith, but then when you go to re-target whatever creature, can't your opponent just remove it, you know? And that's my biggest fear is like, shit's just gonna get destroyed. I guess you could go for something like a Golgari Raiders as well, right? 4 mana haste and enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. So imagine you, instead of doing something like a Thassa bounce for your Ozolith, you do a lot of cheap creatures that have counters and get removed kind of quickly, right? So then when you play your Golgari Raiders and it has the haste and you get all the +1/+1 counters from all the creatures in your graveyard, be it 4 or whatever, you also get +1/+1 counters from the Ozolith from the creatures that have passed away. But like, what's the best? What's the best outcome for that? Do you have a 1 mana creature that has counters? I don't know. We'll open up Golgari Raiders because that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one for sure. Yeah, Amon was an obvious one. Polokranus. Completely forgot about Polokranus. Polokranus just sort of works with the Ozolith anyways. You put down the Polokranus, you minus it out, you do your fighting, you do your defending, whatever. Well, no, I guess it doesn't. You'd have to bounce Polokranus in order to get those and then put it back. Yeah. It doesn't work with Polokranus, right? Because Polokranus won't leave the battlefield with any counters on it unless it gets immediately destroyed, right? But if you just fight your way down on Polokranus, then it leaves the battlefield with 0 counters on it. So, like, in the situation where you're playing it to its optimal ability, you're not getting any counters on the Ozolith. You're only getting counters if your opponent removes it. I don't know. Don't know about that one. Battlefield with +1 equal to the number of creature cards. So here's another one, Razomi Lurcher, but it doesn't have the haste. I don't know. I kind of do want to do an Ozolith Crystalline Giant bounce deck. I kind of do. Spark Temple, it just seems very costly, very unrealistic. Actually, a lot of these seem very unrealistic. The Ozolith, I just don't know. I don't know if it'll actually be played. Galloping Lizarog is an interesting thing. So let's see. Turn 1 Ozolith, turn 2 Simic Ascendancy, turn 3 Yorvo, turn 4. Can you go turn 3 Yorvo with a turn 2 Simic Ascendancy? Yeah, but you'd have to have the split mana. Okay, so turn 3 Yorvo, turn 4 Thassa. You bounce the Yorvo. There's 8/8 counters. 8 +1/+1 counters on your Yorvo. Come turn 5, right? Going into combat. Post combat, you throw down your Galloping Lizarog. You take all 8/8 counters and put them on him, and it becomes 16 counters. 4/4, that's 8 and 16. I mean, that's enough to win Simic Ascendancy, right? By turn 5? I'd have to go to turn 6 though. Right? But that's possible, isn't it? Did I do my math right on that? Let's see. I'll build it out for everybody. Okay, so Simic Ascendancy, Yorvo, and Galloping. Right, you go turn 1, Ozolith. Turn 2, Simic Ascendancy. Turn 3, Yorvo. 4 counters on to Simic Ascendancy. Turn 4, Thassa. So at the end of the turn, you would bounce Yorvo. 4 counters would go into the Ozolith, which would not activate the Simic Ascendancy. But 4 more counters would go into Yorvo whenever he re-enters the battlefield, right? So up to 8. Next turn, rolls into combat, and this is given everything can survive, of course. Rolls into combat. Yorvo gets the 4 counters from the Ozolith back onto it. So 4 more counters, so you're up to 12 for the Simic Ascendancy, and your Yorvo's an 8/8. Swing in, whatever, do whatever you want, leave it alone. So you're up to 12 counters on the Simic Ascendancy. Post-combat, you play your Galloping Lizarog for 5 mana, and you take all 8 counters, doubles it to 16. 16 counters on Simic Ascendancy puts you to, what did I say, 12 plus 16, 28? Boom. Simic Ascendancy, turn 5. Could you Karn the Ozolith to make it creature and Hydra the Oz? I'm not sure what you mean Hydra. But yes, you could Karn the Ozolith to make it a creature, and then yeah, all the counters that are on it should still be on it, right? That's a very interesting one, Liquid. Very, very interesting. Would really like to look at a Rakdos Menace. We actually have a Rakdos Menace. If you click on the Aether Hub link, we have a, what's it called? Yorvo, yeah, it's a giant. There is weird creature that gets random counters. Oh yeah, that's the crystalline giant. Fun. I was thinking, what about Timur Godzilla Elementals, including Ferocity of the Wilds? You take Blink, enters the battlefield deck. Interesting. Hydra Growth. Yeah, Hydra Growth would be good in this deck as well. Just because you're going for the Simic Ascendancy. And yeah, if you can put that on the Yorvo, then you also don't need the Galloping Lizarog, because your Yorvo's at what? Wait a minute. When does... Because here's the thing. Here's the thing with... Hydra's growth. I think it happens on the upkeep. Oh, that was the wrong thing, Chance. That's also wrong. You gotta spell it right. Beginning of your upkeep. Yeah, so here's the problem with that. At the end of your turn, when you're going to bounce the Yorvo or bounce X creature, right? And you're putting all those counters onto the Ozolith. That creature's re-entering with the base stat. So the Yorvo at the beginning of each of your upkeeps is only going to have the 4. Now granted, yes, you could Hydra's Growth it, and every turn it would go back to the 8, you know. But however many counters you have from the Ozolith, 12, 14, 4,000, whatever, is not going to be affected by the Hydra's Growth, because those won't come on until combat, whereas this happens at upkeep. So yeah, it does help, but not as much as what it seems like at first, if that makes sense. But I think we are going to save this a little bit, and then we can work on this more. So we'll call this Ozolith Simic Ascendant A Simic Ascendancy turn 5, right? Because that's the earliest we can get it done. Unless y'all can think of some different way. But given everything curves, given everything stays on the battlefield, this should work. Turn 5, Simic Ascendancy victory. That's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. I don't think it'll become something real, but I think we can make it happen, for sure. I think we can make that happen. So, Ozolith deck. Check. Moving on. Hydra's growth. What was the other one that we were... Oh, the ultimatums. Right. God. There's so much with this set. There's the ultimatums and there's the companions and there's so much. Alright, so let's close out everything. Let's go back to the top. There's a Luna. Oh, man. Yeah, we have to build an elemental with that, for sure. A Luna's an elemental? Like, Timur elementals is going to happen. Wherever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. It mutates exile cards. You could do like a... You could do like a Timur elemental deck with Thassa and Agent as like an end payoff, you know, for this card. I mean, even if you only hit Amanath with this, still, that's going to be damage. That's going to be another elemental. And you're getting down to 6/6. Whew. With flying and trample. Oh, man. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. I do want to do a Kenyan Bond or Prodigy. You do like the Wolf, whatever it is, right? And gain 2 mana off that. So you go... you'd go this turn 2, that turn 3, and you still have 3 mana left over on turn 3 after playing that. That's not bad. But yeah, the Luna. I actually need to go get some water. That's what I should have done on the last break, unless... Ah, never mind. I have water. So yeah, Kennen Bonder Prodigy will be an interesting one as well. Excuse me. But Luna Timur Elementals, and it would work with the ultimatum too, right? What is the ultimatum like? Put permanents down or something like that. Genesis Ultimatum. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand. Seems good. Yeah. So, Timur Elementals. This should be really easy to throw together. Is that how you spell that? It is indeed. Alright, so a Luna. Risen Wreath. Amanath. That's not it. Oh. Was it Genesis Ultimatum? Yeah. What's is it Leafkin? It is. Ah. Okay. I mean, like I said, pretty easy to build that one out. And granted, we're only using 2 new cards. These 2 new cards are very, very awesome. Right? Vadrock is an elemental and the mutate doesn't need the white mana? Ooh. That is true, that is true. That is true. Hydrogrowth, the Ozolith I meant? Ooh, can you do that? Oh yeah, if you were to Karn it in. Right, because you were the one that was talking about Karning it up. Yeah. Yeah, that would work, Liquid. You're the man. Thanks, Steven, you're the man. Parcel Beast for ramp. Oh yeah, that's another elemental as well. I should probably... Let's see... Is that how it's spelled? It is. Look at me knowing how to spell stuff. Only magic cards, though. Alright, so let's just pull open another Scrawfall tab and go to the advanced. It'd be elemental here, right? Yeah. Not with a question mark. We know. Elemental. Future standard. Always by CMC. Ivy Elemental, that's a new one coming. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. But that's not really good with the Ultimatum, right? Or with the Aluna, for that matter. So, nope. Chandra's Embercat. I mean, it would help us with our Chandras and with our Elementals, right? It would help us with mana there. Grouping Trailblazer. Glimmerbell is a new elemental. Elemental Jellyfish. 2 mana untapped Glimmerbell. There's got to be something to do with Glimmerbell and one of those creatures that says tap and do whatever based on the number of times you've mutated this creature, right? Because 2 mana untap is not that expensive. And for some of those creatures, it's like, you know, dive down into your X or dive down into your deck and find X permanents. Like, well, you Glimmerbell and you mutate that creature onto Glimmerbell and then you tap it, 2 mana untap it, tap it, 2 mana untap it, tap it, 2 mana untap it, right? That seems kind of good. Could be blowing it out of proportion. Savi Thundermane is an elemental cat. I love it. Oh wait, so is Skycat Sovereign. What's with these elemental cats? You about to see Bont elemental cat flying creatures. Alright. What else we got here in elementals? Here's battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Remove a +1/+1 counter. Target player searches their library for a basic land, puts it onto the battlefield tab, then shuffles their library. So Fertilid, 3 mana for an elemental. Has 2 counters on it. Is that better than Risen Reef, though? It's guaranteed land. And it goes onto the battlefield, so it doesn't even have to hit your hand. But again, it's taking up the spot of Risen Reef, so... I don't know about that one, Chief. Slitherwisp is an elemental nightmare. Could we see a Sultai flashing elementals deck with a Vivian? For the creatures, you know? Flashing in the elemental creatures. Oh yeah, Badrock. You're correct. So you could just cast it for 1 blue and 2 red. Elemental cat. Flying first strike. When this creature mutates, you may cast another target non-creature card. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a problem with the elementals because their whole thing is, well, they're all creatures. With converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. That's interesting, but I don't know how much we'd be doing it in an elemental deck. So Slitherwisp is something that I actually want to revisit. Here's Zirda. You can actually get this down in Timur Elementals as well. Each permanent card has an activated ability. Well, we're not worried about that. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. Huh. Do we have elementals that have activated abilities? Not really. But again, Zirda could go in that Glimmerbell deck, right? And then it costs 1 mana to untap your Glimmer Bell. So you're just tap, untap, tap, untap, tap, untap, tap, untap. But it has to be all blue mana. So that might be later in the set kind of build. You know what I mean? So yeah, Parcel Beast, we got that. Where are you, library? Land card, you may put that onto the battlefield. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. That's not bad at all. Ow! Sitting here kicking my foot on the bottom of my chair. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you should just do one thing at a time. You should focus on this. Brocus is actually an elemental. You may cast Brocus from your graveyard using its mutate ability. Brocus is interesting in the fact that it's not that interesting. Of course, there's the Cavalier. Cavalier, Gales, Thorns, Flames. Whatever, you name it. Dreamtail? Creature mutates, draw a card. It's 4 mana. Yeah, it's not really worth it. The Luna, cool. Gigantha, the Wellspring. This is the card that's good in the Dimir deck, right? No card in your starting deck has more than 1 of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. Tap, add white, blue, black, red, and green. This mana can't be spent to pay generic mana costs. So it's a 5 mana, 5/5 that you can tap to add a whole slew of mana, but you can't really use the white or black mana anywhere, right? If we were to use it in this deck, but you could use the other to get down into Luna or whatever, you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's good old you rock. You're rocking and you're rolling. Nyx Bloom is a elemental, and that's it. That is it. Of course, if you get down to Nyx Bloom with your Luna, that'd be great, right? Oh, you'd have to have something to pay off for the mana. I feel like this is fine for now. We get the idea. We get the idea. We got the Parcel Beast in there, yeah. Yeah, this is fine. Alright, so import, we'll call this IKO Timur Elementals. Oh, you can't just hit enter. I lied, ladies and gentlemen, you can't just hit enter. Alright, back to deck builder. We're making some good progress. I feel like we've got some good decks going here today. Parcel Beast mutated onto the Jellyfish. Oh yeah, there might have been a combo we missed right there. Oh, Slitherwisp is not what we were looking for. Let me get that Glimmer Bell creature back up. Here it is. And then where's the Parcel Beast? Let's see. Pay 1 and tap. Look at the top card if your library. If it's land, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put it onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. And you pay 1 and untap. So 2 mana, you just get to keep re-looking at the top of your library. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So much. We're going to put a Glimmer Bell in that deck. I'm going to go back and make a... Let's refresh this. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Glimmer Bell. There it is. What do y'all think? Just 2? Maybe just 2 of them? Because that combo is kind of... it's a little bit of a niche in this deck, but it could be better in other decks. Actually, 1 blue to untap it, and then we could tap Leafkin, right? If we some way could mutate these creatures together. I don't think you can do that though, right? You'd have to mutate a creature onto... No, I don't think you could do that. But I do want to. I want to take a look at those other mutate cards. This is all elementals. This is back to the normal thing. All right, so that's fine. We're done with the elementals. We're good. We got it. Oh bueno. All right, so Song of Creation. That's another one. Winota, Joiner of Forces. This is a card we've had over here Crystalline Giant. We'll get to you. Don't worry, buddy. We'll get to you. We can X that one out. Glimmer Bell, I still want to take a look at. Alright, so Winota, Joiner of Forces. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest of the cards onto the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks. So you're going to want non-humans from 1 to 3. Right? And then you're going to want humans from 4 plus. Alright, so let's look at humans with enter the battlefield effects. So enter the battlefield. We want a human. And we want future standard. And we want their CMC to be greater than or equal to 4, right? We don't want to be pulling anything too low with them. You know, you could pull Agent of Treachery with Winota. That's gonna be sorted underneath interesting. Agent of Treachery, Winota. It'd be Jeskai in the decks, but we'll see. Alright, so this is humans with CMC greater than 4 with enter the battlefield effects. And Winota's red-white, so we do need to kind of keep that in our mind. Well, Elite Guardmaid would go in that Agent of Treachery deck, right? You could have it enter for free, gain 3 life, draw a card. And the 2/3 attacking isn't that great. Haktos. You have Haktos enter with haste and indestructible. So not only protection, but indestructible as well. That's a pretty spicy. You get a Reverent Hoplite down, though the attack isn't that great. Massacre Girl seems counterintuitive. Rolesk. Nowhere near the colors you need, though, right? Scholar of the Ages, return to 2 instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, or to your hand. I'm sorry. That's not bad either. So you're looking at Elite Guard Mage, Haktos, Agent of Treachery. Oh. Maybe Scholar of the Ages. How many cards do you look down? Whenever a non-human you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards. Okay, so you get her down turn 4. You get 3 creatures, so you can look at the top 18 cards of your deck with this. That's pretty good chances of hitting an Agent or a Haktos or, you know, something. So, if you play Scholar of the Ages, what do you hope to get back? Because you've played all creatures up to this point, right? Up to turn 4, you've played only creatures. Turn 1, creature. Turn 2, creature. Turn 3, creature. Turn 4, Winota. You don't have anything, right? So maybe just Agent and Haktos are the top ends. Problem is, Haktos is a legendary, so don't really be hitting multiples of those. Agent is fine. What other humans would you really, really want to hit here? That might be good enough though. Let's at least go ahead and throw it together since we. Let's reset all of these, and then Noda. You'll probably want 4 copies of that. You'll want the agent. You'll definitely want 4 copies of that. You want the Haktos. I think you'll want Haktos. Maybe just 3 of those, so you're not hitting multiple. And then you'll want Jeskai creatures, Jeskai non-human creatures with converted mana costs 3 or less that are kind of invasive. So we're thinking like Healer Hawks, that line, right? Right. I think so. All right, so let's see. Let's go. Healer's Hawk seems like an almost guaranteed, right? It's evasive, it's cheap, it's great. It's great. It's more than good, it's great, actually. I mean, Vadrock, 3 mana, flying first strike, just play it down normally. And if you happen to mutate it, then you can get something back from your graveyard. But again, you're playing creatures, so I don't know what non-creature you'd be getting back. What else? What else does this set have in the way of non-creatures less than 3 mana that would be potentially useful to us? Kahira? It's cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast. Cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast. In Jeskai for less than 3 mana. Yeah. I mean, cat's not bad, but Lava Bring Venturer? It's a human though. Is there a way? Is there a way to go non-humans here? No, you can't search everything that's not a human. There's not an easy way to search for what I'm trying to search for. Jeskai non-humans with 3 or less converted mana cost. During your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. Lurrus. Lurrus fits everything. It's a lifelinker. We don't have to worry about the companion. We're not worried about a companion. It would also allow us to get our Healer's Hawks and things of that nature back from the graveyard. So maybe. There's also Lutri, but I don't think we're going to be copying spells. What is the Jeskai one of these? Mythos Vadrock. 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. If white-blue was spent to cast this, until your next turn, those permanents can't attack or block, and their activated abilities can't be activated. I mean, it's okay. It's more so what you follow up with, right? Well, even still, no, I don't think so. Alright, Skycat Sovereign, 2 mana for a 1/1, gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying. I mean, fuck. That works well with both your Healer's Hawks and your Elite Sky, whatever it is. What was it? Ah, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to think of goddamn name now. Elite Guard Mage, there it is. So it works well with that as well, right? Where's that? Here. Yeah, so Skycat Sovereign would work well with, you play Healer's Hawk, you play this turn 2. You have 1/1 and a 2/2. Turn 3, you play whatever. Turn 4, you play Winota. You're swinging in with the Elemental Cat. You're swinging in with the normal bird. Whatever. If you do hit an Elite Guard Mage, this goes up to a 3/3. And you get all the other benefits. Sure, Skycat Sovereign may find its way into this deck. Titan's Nest. At the beginning of upkeep, you may look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard, exile card. Oh, right. That's one of those enchantments. Whirlwind of Thought doesn't really belong in our deck. Zirda, again, it can go in here, but we don't really have activated abilities. Like, that's not what this deck is about. Auspicious Starix, I kind of would like to do a deck with that. Slash the Archipelagor. I'm not seeing any more creatures that fit our description, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's Cunning Nightbonder, but then you're going for a flash deck, right? You're going completely the wrong way. Flourishing Fox, I suppose, but again, you're looking at Cycle. Footfall Crater is kind of interesting, but you're already giving your things haste. There's Huntmaster Liger. You can mutate in for 3, so you don't get another creature, but you get a 3/4, which is you know, a little bit bigger, and you get +X on all your other creatures. Yeah. Jubilant Skybinder. Creatures you control with flying have spells your opponents cast that target this creature cost 2 more to cast. 3 mana for a human wizard, 2/2 flying. Board wipe's still just as effective though, right? I don't know. Turn target. Nope, not what we're looking for. Sorry, Parcel Beast. Lord Dracus, that's what your name is, not Parcel Beast. Looking at the wrong card. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if it has mutate, draw a card, then discard a card. Each creature spell you cast costs 1 less to cast if it has mutate. That's interesting. That's an interesting card. Yeah, I'm still not seeing. Well, there's Regal Leosaur. Let's see. Whenever this creature mutates, other creatures you control get +2/+1 until end turn. So if you put this plus the Huntmaster Liger, then things are gonna be getting +3/+2, and then +4/+3, and then +5/+4. Every time you mutate, right? That's kind of interesting. Sabi Thundermane. So we're looking for non-human creatures. Converted mana costs 3 or less. Oh, Stormwild Captor. Fantastic. That's a good one. Flying Haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on. We're not really focusing on non-creature spells, but that one may show up. That one may do all right. Trumpeting Gnar. That's a card it's not a full build around, but it's a card that I want to put into a deck for sure. If that makes any sense. Almighty Brushwag. I'm not seeing too much else. I mean, I guess there's that, not this card, but the other card that looks basically the same as this card. You know what I'm talking about. Not seeing any more non-humans. Whenever a creature you control mutates, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and you gain 2 life. Essence Symbiote. There it is, Forbidden Friendship. Create a 1/1 red dinosaur creature token with haste and a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Frostlinks, non-human, enters the battlefield, able to tap a creature your opponent controls, so able to free up, being able to swing in. Of course, there's Glimmer Bell once more. Helica Glider, 3 mana, could enter with a flying counter on it. Not gonna lie, this is a little difficult. I'm ready for draft with this set, actually. Oh man, I'm ready for draft. Alright. Oh, that's it. Okay, fantastic. Alright, so you would go for like a Healer's Hawk. You could go for the Skycat thing. And maybe even some Pegasus, right? But the idea would be to get down the Agent of Treachery, steal your opponent's stuff, right? Alright, so we have a general. I do want to throw in Skycat. I don't know if Skycat is its actual name. It is. Just that way we know, right? So this seems like it could be an interesting deck. We'll call it Winota Flying Agent. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Alright, so another deck down and out. Let's see. Where did we start today? I had the Stormwild Caprador. Then we did the Menace today. Mardu Humans today. Ozlith today. Timur Elementals and Winota Flying Agent today. That's some pretty good work. Kahira the Orphan Guard. Oh, there's something else we need to check out. Let's see. Let's see what we can see about Kahira. Oh right, Sprite Dragon was another good one. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1. Yeah, that was another good one that could fit into that deck. All right, so hold up. What were you talking about? Kahira the Orphan Guard. Oh, right. That things that could fit into the deck. Also, I do kind of want to build a cat tribal around this. I'm not gonna lie. Each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1. But this feels like something I'll build after the set actually releases. Not something we need to worry about right now. All right, so let's. Oh right, the Stormwild Caprador. That was another good one to add into that deck. Fuck. All right, well we'll just remember it later. There's so many other cards I gotta get to building with as well. There's companions. There's mutate combinations. All right. let's see. What do we want to take a look at next? Do we want to look at a mutate deck, at some of these enchantments like Song of Creation or Titan's Nest? You know, these 3-color enchantments. Do we want to take a look at those? Mutate, or the companions? You know, because those are all good deck archetypes that I feel like we can do something with, you know? You're going to comment on your turn. Exile target red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 1/1. It gains haste until your next turn. So... okay, so a couple interesting thoughts come to mind. One, you can return Dracuseth with this 1/1 Dracuseth. 2, you could return an Obosh, right? And sure, it's only a 1/1 that gains haste, but you're not really worried about that. You're concerned with dealing the double damage, right? The thing is, this is turn 5. Which, like... okay, so think about it like this. Turn 5, you could either play this and bring back your little 1/1 Dracuseth, right? And it gains haste and... sure. Or, on turn 5, you could pay the 5 mana to reanimate your Dracuseth with haste, with the Bond of Revival, I believe it is, right? And then you have a 7/7. So it's like, this isn't really doing you any favors. Sure, following turn, you get to do it again. You get to bring some other little 1/1 back. But... is it better on turn 5 to bring back a 1/1 and then on turn 6 to bring back another 1/1 besides Dracuseth? Or is it better on turn 5 to just crack back a Dracuseth, you know? It's just, it's too slow. I think 5 mana is too slow for this to even be like... even be fun, really. I don't know. Maybe in a Mirror March deck of some kind. I really don't know. We could try for an Obosh, the Prey Piercer deck. Let's try that out. Starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs. Although, again, this is like, it's 5 mana to get it down, so it's like, sure, you can deal double damage, but you can't deal double damage until turn 6. Because turn 5, sorry, smack the mic a little bit. Turn 5, you get this down, you don't have any mana to play anything else, unless you play this in a Fires deck, in which case... turn 5, you get this down, you play one other thing that costs 5 mana, maybe? Or 3 mana, I guess? And Fires is a 4 mana card, so already Companion out the window. God. One thing I'm noticing more and more with this set is the harder you look at it, the worse it is, you know? You look at it on the surface and you're like, oh, well, that seems kind of strong. But then you're like, well, turn 5, hell, turn 4, you can get down toward Bran, and yeah, it doesn't deal double damage, but it deals +2, which in some cases is more, right? Something like, the little 1/1 elemental, the Scorching Spitfire, whatever it is, you know, the one that's in the Cavalcades. Doubling that damage actually isn't better than adding 2. Nah, maybe we don't build an Obosh deck. A lot of these cards they seem very, very fizzly, you know? Very fizzly. What about Garuda? Starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana cost. Okay. Enters the battlefield. Each player puts the top 4 cards of the library into the graveyard. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Well, you know the unfortunate thing is this is 7! The card you would want to get back, Agent, is 7. Alright, let me go to MTG Arena real quick. And what is Garuda? Is it okay? So it can be blue or black or both, either which way. So let's see all of the even converted mana costs in. Oh man, creatures. Alright, so cards you could actually get back with this. Let's see. Sephira is 7. Realm Cloaked is 7. Flight of the Equinox is 8. Hey, there you go. You can get it back at 4/5 with flying. Fantastic. Dream Eater is 6. That's actually not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Thassa's 4. Spark Double's 4. You only get to return 1 creature? Yes, you only get to return 1 creature. That's really not that heavy of an effect for all that you're doing for it, right? All your cards are even, and whenever you play this, you only return 1 card. But I guess you could go for Thassa, right? So... oh, God. It just seems like more of a headache to play than anything else. Alright, what other cards do we have? So no Agent. You can't even get back Sphinx Mindbreaker and do some fun shit with it. Villas is 8. That's even. You can get back a Villas with it. Dracuseth is 7. In case anyone was wondering. Terror of Mount Velus is 7. Again, in case anybody was wondering. I mean, you do have Gargos, Feasting Troll King, Aggressive Mammoth. Beanstalk is 7. Nyx Bloom is 7. Thorn Mammoth is 7. Enraze is 8, actually, interestingly enough. Enraze is 8, and Impervious Great Worm is 10. So, you could get back a Great Worm, but if you're going to play a Great Worm, why play this deck where you have to wait till turn 5, 6? Turn 6, right? Oh, I guess you could ramp as well. You could ramp and get this down on turn 4. But you also have to hit the Great Worm. Yeah, why would you do this when you can play Luka and get it guaranteed, I guess, is my question. Sure, with this, I guess you get a 6/6 and the Great Worm down. Huh. Enraze has haste, which is nice. So you might could do this in an Enraze deck, right? Do like maybe a Sultai, Garuda deck. We might could do a Sultai Garuda deck. That might actually be possible. Aetherios is 6. Interesting. Tasa's 4, so she still fits the description. Lockmere Serpent is 6. Of course, once you have this card into the graveyard, you can return it with other means. So I don't know if you'd really be worried about returning it. Azoni. Azoni is 6. That's kind of nice. That's fun. And that's in Sultai. Polucranus is 4. But you probably would rather escape that than bring it back. Scuttlegator. 6. Amanoth is 4. Gate Colossus is 8, but again, gates. Meteor Golem's 7. So yeah, I mean, you could do it. You could do a Sultai Garuda deck, I feel like, and it'd be okay. I don't know how much further past okay it would be, but it would be okay in the very least. So Garuda and Thassa. Yeah. See, I had mentioned that. But again, you're going to be milling yourself hella. And granted, with that Garuda, you could always bring back a Thassa's Oracle because that's even. So even if you are going to mill yourself, there's that. What is your rock? Your rock's 5, isn't it? Son of a bitch. Of course, your rock is 5. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe an Orzhov Afterlife or Sacrifice Death? Oh, with Mothra? Yeah. Lots of hype around Song of Creation. That's because Song is going to be one of those things where it's either going to hit, and it's going to hit hard as fuck, and it'll be in meta, or it won't, and that, I know that's, chance, no shit, either decks, or every deck's either going to hit or not, but like Song of Creation, it's all going to come down to the efficiency. How often can you get Song of Creation down and then go on a tear with it, right? If I can find it. If I can fucking find it. There it is. So, Song of Creation. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Alright, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Good. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. Good. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Okay, let's think about all of the ways this could be used. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. So every turn you're starting over from 0, basically. You're going to draw your first card, and you're going to hope it's not a land. And you're going to have some interaction to where even if it is a land, you still have something to play, right? So, adventure creatures, escape creatures, planeswalkers, kind of okay. Or you're going to want something to where you can draw more cards without natural card draw. And what are you actually trying to do with this card? Just get tons of stuff and just rip tons of top decks? Like get really ramped and then just hit top decks for days? Wouldn't this just be good in a normal, like, Timur Elemental style deck? I don't know. I'm sure people will come up with some crazy flashy shit with this with this card. I'm sure of it. What's the other one? So you have Song of Creation, Titan's Nest, Whirlwind of Thought. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Which seems a bit laughable whenever you look at Song of Creation and you look at Whirlwind of Thought. Offspring's Revenge. I don't think the Abzan one is good at all. The Abzan one is like absolute trash. Eerie Ultimatum, I'm excited for. Emergent Ultimatum, I'm excited for. Search your library for up to 3 mono-colored cards with different names and exile them. When an opponent chooses one of those cards, shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. So I was thinking about doing like Sultai. You could have Agent in there. You could have End Rays, right? Those are 2 good mono-colored cards. Doesn't even say that they have to be creatures, so they could just be mono-colored good cards. Magic Mirror, right? The problem with these ultimatum cards is going to be actually getting them off. You know? Like, actually being able to cast them and them not be countered by all the flash decks that will be being played. Death's Oasis. That's the one that's like, I don't think it's actually that good. Because you don't even get to return the lesser converted mana cost to the battlefield. You return it to your hand. Oh, goodness gracious. I want to try a real, whatever it is, the Everwise self-mill. Whenever you discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. Like that. Plus, what is that? It's an Is It card. Let's open this up. Let's open this can of worms real quick. Is this? There's an Is It card that it's like 4 mana, discard X cards, deal X damage, draw X cards, something like that. Channel Force. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard X cards. Target player draws X cards. Channel Force deals X damage up to 1 target creature, planeswalker. So pay this 4 mana, discard. Hell, I don't know, three cards, let's say. So discard 3 cards. Real. Or you discard 1 more cards for the first time. Draw that many cards. So you draw 6 cards total after discarding 3, and you would deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker for 4 mana. So 4 mana, 3 damage, draw 6 cards. What? Instant speed too. 4 mana, deal 3 damage, draw 6 cards. Sure, you have to discard 3, but just pretend you never saw them. Alright, let's go. Get out of here, Obosh. You aren't nearly that good. What is it, Channeled Force? Yo, you also have stuff like Awaken the Erstwhile, right? Where it's like each player discards their cards and then creates that many zombies. Well, if you have Rail down and you do that, you're both going to discard all your cards, but you're going to redraw your hands and you're going to have zombies. They're going to have zombies too, but you know what I mean. She's also good in a cycle deck, right? You just cycle a card and immediately get the free card draw off of it. I don't know. Anyways, Bag of Holding I think is a must. That sounds good as well. Yeah, but you have JC, don't mill yourself. That's, yeah. Trample Tribal with Era Graveyard benefits. Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been going for 3 hours now. Eva's going to be getting off work soon, and we've built honestly, a lot of decks today. I have a lot built from last night. We built a lot today. I think I'm ready. I think tomorrow is going to be a fun day. We're going to, of course, do as usual. We'll start up the event. I'll do a couple matches with a deck that I'm going to record and then upload, and then we'll sort of have fun with the event for a little while. I'll come back and do some more video stuff, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I hope to see you all then tomorrow, bright and early, or late at night. I don't know. It depends on, you know, where you are, wherever you're at. But 11 a.m. for Eastern Standard Time is when the actual event starts. We will be starting our stream around 10:30, so we can have a little bit of a, you know, wake up, have some coffee, nice little chat. I like to get, you know, a little jump start in these events, you know, have a stretch, something like that. Something where we can sort of talk and chill before the event starts. So 10:30 Eastern Standard Time is when we'll be starting here. 11 is when the event will be starting. Or 8 o'clock, I guess, Pacific Standard, or 7:30 Pacific Standard. We'll be doing that whole first stream like what I normally do, streaming for a while. Like I said, having fun, doing drafts, maybe a sealed event, maybe. I don't know. I'm a lot more fond of draft than I am of sealed. We'll do some constructed, all that stuff. May see if MTG Jeff or one of those other content creators wants to play. You know, there's a lot of new and good ones. MTG Jesus, I know he's a content creator. If you're out there and you're looking to play some matches, we can certainly do that. But yeah, so going to be doing all that. I'll take a break. I'll come back and probably do either later that night or the next morning. But you know, we'll have more talks about that. Need a way to bounce the song every turn. Yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody so much for coming out and supporting. This was a great live stream. We went for 3 hours. We peaked around 25, 24 viewers, something like that. We built up a ton of decks. Y'all were super helpful with building the decks today. Y'all gave me a ton of ideas. I gotta say thank y'all a ton for being here, for supporting the stream, all that nice, lovely stuff. Now, we are going to be ending it out with an ad and music and all that good stuff. So if you want to stick around and support the stream or the channel by, you know, watching through the ad or whatever, by all means do that. But we are going to be playing it out with some music. Hope you all had a wonderful day and a wonderful stream. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Peace. Alrighty.